Hey there, creative soul. I'm so happy you're here. Welcome. In this episode of Reawaken Your Voice, we are diving into the 3 foundational pillars that you need in place in order to confidently bring your voice from inside of you and out into the world. I'll walk you through the key components to your vocal discovery or rediscovery and your creative revival so that you can develop the whole singer, mind, body, and spirit. So we'll talk about what that means, why it's important, and how to get started. So let's dive in. Welcome to Reawaken Your Voice. I'm Lainey Prendeville Crawford, holistic voice coach, singer, song weaver. I believe the song in your heart holds medicine for yourself and for the world. And yet too often, something happens along the way. We shut down our voice and our song goes unsung. Whether you stopped singing years ago or have always harbored an unrealized dream to start, if you're ready to finally give voice to those unsung songs in your heart, then take my hand as I guide you to free yourself from the inner critic, reignite your creativity, find your courage, sing with confidence, and reawaken those dormant parts of yourself aching for a revival. So dust off your songbooks, tune up your guitar, bust out your singing bowls, your shakers, your drum. Actually, all you really need is your voice, your breath, open ears, and an open heart. Let's play. So today we're talking about 3 foundational pillars that are essential to rediscovering your voice and reawakening your creativity and unlocking your voice holistically. But before we get into it, I'd like to take a moment to invite you to my free workshop. This is designed to help you get your voice and creativity flowing again. So if the topic of this episode speaks to you, you are going to love going deeper with this free gift I've created for you. This is a recorded video workshop where I'll take you through a 1-hour guided practice to reconnect with your singing voice, rekindle that creative spark, get into the flow of a consistent singing practice, and open your voice with ease so that singing feels good again. Head to reawakenyourvoice.com/workshop to get instant access to this gift from my heart to yours. Okay, so have you ever felt like your voice and expression are stuck inside of you? Like maybe you've suppressed your voice for a long time. Or maybe you're feeling like, okay, things are moving, but it's kind of lopsided or clunky. Or maybe something just feels out of alignment and you can't quite get your voice to do what you want it to do. Well, it goes beyond the physical vocal technique because yours is a human instrument. It's part of you. It's part of your body, yes, but it's also very connected to your mind and to your spirit. And this is why each of these 3 pillars are essential. Not just one, not even 2, but all 3 of these. So I'll give you a quick outline of what these are, and then we'll go deeper into it. So these pillars are: number 1, healing and nourishing the singer within. Number 2, developing your gifts. And number 3, sharing your voice. So my dad was a builder. He was a home builder. And he taught me from a very young age the importance of starting with a strong foundation. So we would be building with wooden blocks. We'd be building with Legos. And, he would demonstrate to me, show me with these blocks what happens when you build with a strong foundation and what happens when you don't. And this applies to so many things in life. But I've discovered the hard way that yes, it even applies here to the voice. So when I talk about these 3 pillars, imagine a 3-legged stool. So each of these 3 legs must be in place as a strong foundation to create stability and sustainability. So you can actually sit on it without wobbling around or falling down or having the whole thing collapse on you. During my dark night of the soul, when I stopped singing, I had focused so much on vocal technique that my creativity was stifled and my heart was no longer in it. And there were times early on when I was out there sharing my voice and my heart, but I didn't have the skills to really do it justice. Like there was so much more available to me. And I had a lot to learn, and it showed. And I couldn't fully express everything I wanted to in a clear and direct way because there were these technical skills that were missing in order to really do that and really do it justice. And then there was also a time when I had the skills. I had moved through the fears and the doubts, and I had strengthened my inner game. But I wasn't actually using my voice the way I was being called to share it. I had buried those gifts. So that wasn't doing anyone any good. So the mind, body, and spirit, they need to be balanced when we're singing. This is the mindset, the vocal technique, the musical skills, the performance and artistry. That's why these 3 pillars are so important. We can't have you trying to sit and sing on a wobbly stool, and we certainly don't want it to collapse on you. Whether you're on stage when it happens or in the coziness of your own space. It's not pleasant. I've been there, and I don't want that for you. I want you to blossom and flourish and thrive, not only in your voice, your instrument itself, but in your journey as an artist and creative human being, so that you can enjoy singing for years to come. So these 3 pieces really need to be able to dance together to support and sustain the singer holistically, the whole singer. So pillar 1, let's go a little bit deeper into each of these. Pillar 1, healing and nourishing the singer within. This is the mind. So what does this involve? This involves unblocking your creativity, finding that freedom from the inner critic and the inner censor. This requires that you learn to quiet the noise. You know what I'm talking about, the perfectionism, the self-judgment, the comparison. So this takes a little bit of digging. You're digging into artist identity, who you're allowing yourself to be versus who you are as an artist. This involves awakening those long buried desires when it comes to your voice and singing. And perhaps most importantly of all, it means that you're learning to play again. Your inner artist is a child at heart. She wants to run unbridled through fields of wildflowers and swing on the swings and climb the trees and all that stuff. Learning what it means to play the music. We can get so bogged down and serious when it comes to honing our gift and, trying to create the most beautiful sound. But we forget about this important verb. There's a reason why we say play the music. We have to get back to the heart of play. So healing and nourishing the singer within, it's all of these things. Like, okay, but how? How do I learn to heal and nourish the singer within? Well, very tactically, some tools that help with this are journaling, vocal play, improvisation, songwriting, digging in and getting to the root of these fears and breaking through them by playing with your voice again. Pillar 2, developing your gifts. This piece involves the body of the mind, body, spirit holistic approach. So this means creating your personal voice practice, getting to know your voice again, whether that be for the first time or getting to know it as it is now, because it changes as we change through life, as we go through the different seasons of life. So maybe you're just getting reacquainted with your voice. And you do this through your voice practice, getting to know your instrument, understanding how to navigate the different parts of your voice. And this requires a discipline, dedication to practicing your craft. I like to use the word devotion because that just feels good in my spirit. But yes, this is the technique, the practice, the honing your craft, the refining of your natural gifts and your natural talent. I used to think that raw talent was a badge of honor. There was a time when I thought it was something to boast about that I had never had a voice lesson, which actually kind of makes me cringe when I think about it now. But there it is. But the truth is, you have a responsibility to learn how to use your gifts, to grow, to develop those gifts, to refine them, and to put work into your natural talent. And you also owe it to yourself to realize your potential. It's there. What will you do with it? So not only is this vocal technique, learning how to use your voice, but it's also developing musicianship, learning or relearning the vocal and musical skills that are needed in order to fully allow your voice to flourish. So, developing your gifts means creating a consistent practice. And that can ebb and flow and breathe with you, from day to day. But it's the devotion of coming back to it again and again. Using those vocal exercises, scales and arpeggios, the vocal drills, and applying them to the songs you're working on. That's learning the basics of the language of music. And there's no need to really go deep into music theory. Although I will say it can only help you translate your heart language to music, like the language of music, more fluidly. So you can begin where you are. If that is 0, you still have an ear for music and that pull in your heart to sing. So you can rely a lot on your intuition and on your ear to guide you in the beginning. But as you go deeper, learning more about the language of music and how to apply it to your singing practice is going to enhance the experience, not only for you, but for those who are listening. Pillar 3, sharing your voice. This is the performance aspect of singing and the artistry. This is your spirit. Yes, the spirit part of the mind, body, spirit. 3-legged stool here. Sharing your heart through your voice requires vulnerability. So there's an aspect here that requires you to get comfortable with being vulnerable, becoming confident in your voice, so that when you go to sing, you're singing with feeling from the heart. You're not all up in your head about how it sounds or, all those fears running around. You are dropped into the heart space, and that expression and that artistry can take over. So this takes practice. It's the practice of singing in front of people. And this can be in your own way, starting where you are with something that does feel comfortable, and little by little stretching outside of your comfort zone. So I consider this to be gradual release. Little by little, you're letting go of that boundary that keeps you inside the box of your comfort zone. Pushing the edges, allowing yourself to kind of push and come back. And then next time you'll stretch a little further. And then the next time you'll stretch a little further. And as you practice this, you're developing your stage presence so that the energy you bring to your performance is in alignment with the message that you're sharing through the music. And so as the audience, if we're listening, we're feeling your heart. We're not feeling your nerves. And this takes practice. This pillar also has to do with your vocal offering. How are you called to share your voice in the world? It's unique to you. So I say the world as if it's this big thing, but it can be so small, and that can make the biggest impact, that ripple effect in the world. So it's very unique to you. Start where you are. Gradual release. What feels doable right now? What feels like a bit of a stretch? Then you're stretching little by little beyond that comfort zone until you find yourself in that vision that you've seen. And you know the one. It's unique to you. The one where you are sharing your voice. You're sharing your heart through song. What is that vision that's calling to you? So once again, these 3 pillars. Number 1, healing and nourishing the singer within. This is the mind. Pillar 2, developing your gifts. This is the body, the physical practice of singing. And pillar 3, sharing your voice. This is the performance and the artistry, the spirit that comes into this holistic approach. So as you see, your foundation, your vocal foundation, it's about so much more than strong vocal technique. So yes, the how of singing is important. It's one of those pillars. It's one of those 3 legs. You need that. But it's also about nourishing the whole singer. So you need that other leg that deals with the inner game, the inner singer, the mindset. And that other pillar that brings in your heart and your spirit and your expression and your creative artistry, the uniqueness of the offering and how you're sharing your voice in the world. So we're nourishing the whole singer, mind, body, and spirit. So with all of these pillars in mind, here's where you can go with this from here. Take a moment to do a little journaling around these 3 pillars. So ask yourself, when it comes to my voice, for pillar 1, ask yourself, what am I afraid of? For pillar 2, ask yourself, what am I committed to? And pillar 3, what am I longing for? Do some writing and see what comes up through that. So there's a piece that involves the fear, getting through the fear. And there's a piece that requires commitment, devotion, discipline. And then there's another piece that really requires the depths of your heart. What are you longing for? How is your voice calling to you? And how do you want to bring that from inside of you out into the world? So remember, I also have a free workshop available to you to get started with these concepts. So again, that link is reawakenyourvoice.com/workshop. Here's to you and your beautiful 3-legged, strong, stable, sustainable stool. I'm picturing this stool with like glitter and bows and flowers, and it's painted all different colors. It's a creative stool. What does yours look like? That might be something else fun you can do as you're journaling these. Draw your own stool that you sit on. Okay, I think that's a great place to close off today. So, sending you so much love. Hey friend, thank you so much for listening. If this episode unlocked something in you or moved you in some way, I'd be so grateful if you'd leave me a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're streaming this, and share this episode with a friend who's been praying for a vocal breakthrough. Until we meet again, keep nurturing that song in your heart. Lots of love.